Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ahmad Nur Aiman bin Ishaq, and in this video, I will explain about pulp production.
Hai, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurul Shazliana Atikah binti Abdul Hamid, and in this video, I will explain about productions of paper.
Hi guys, Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. My name is Nur Afifa Zaidah Mama Amin and I'm in a group 3. Our group is going to present the topic sulfuric acid in pulp and paper industry. Let's go.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Siti Hajar Aisyah binti Khairul Anwar and I'm going to talk about the trivia or fun facts in sulfuric acid in pulp and paper industry.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is Sarah Aiman and I will be talking about the introduction of sulfuric acid in pulp and paper industry. First of all, let's take a look at the overview of this topic. There are several subtopics that we will be going through, which are the introduction, formula and equations, production of pulp, and also production of paper. Okay, let's start with the introduction. Beyond all of these uses of sulfuric acid, do you guys know who is the first one to discover about sulfuric acid? It is Jabir ibn Hayyan. He is a Persian alchemist. In the 17th century, the sulfuric acid was first produced by burning of sulfur together with the saltpeter. In the mid of the 17th century, the lead chamber reactor was invented. After that, the sulfuric acid was then produced by using contact process method. I am pretty sure that many of you already very familiar to this method. After a while, the vanadium pentoxide was then discovered as a catalyst, and this led to a double catalyst process. In pulp and paper industry, it is well known as one of the largest global industries because who doesn't need paper? It is also a highly cost sensitive because everyone is searching for a high quality but a low cost paper. And it will then gradually increase in demand every year. The pH of the paper must always be controlled and monitored to ensure the quality of the paper. The sulfuric acid was used in pulp and paper industry because it can help to hydrolyze the natural organic polymer and it is for the chlorine dioxide generation.
So, this is a little trivia about the pulp and paper industry. The pulp and paper industry is one of the largest industries in the world with a very high capital investments. It has the fastest growth in Asia because of China's rapidly expanding industry. It also has been estimated that global paper consumption in 2025 will amount to 500 million tons. A lot, isn't it? So as you can see in the table, the world consumption of paper, where the highest world consumption of paper is in Asia, and the lowest world consumption of paper is in Africa, which is only 1%.
There are a lot of properties of sulfuric acid. The first one is it is a strongly acidic substance because it has a very low pH value, which is 1 pH value. And the next one is it is a clear oily liquid and can act as oxidizing and dehydrating agent. And lastly, sulfuric acid is very corrosive. As we all know, sulfur can be released to the surrounding, and when it is react with water, it can lead to acid rain, and acid rain can damage the building because acid rain contains sulfuric acid. This shows that sulfuric acid is very corrosive. Okay, that's all from me. I will now pass to the next presenter.
Okay, now let's move on to the formula and equation for this topic. Sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid produced with contact process. Sulfuric acid undergoes 3 stages to form sulfuric acid itself, H2SO4. For the stage 1 is the formation of sulfur dioxide, SO2. For the stage 2 is the formation of sulfur trioxide, SO3. And the stage 3 is the formation of sulfuric acid, H2SO4. Sulfuric acid used in pulp and paper industry for chlorine dioxide generation, tall oil splitting, and pH adjustment. Okay, let's move on to the formation of sulfuric acid. In this picture, you can see 3 stages. The first stage is occurred in the furnace, and the second stage is occurred in the converter, and the last stage is occurred in the absorber. Okay, now I'm going to explain you more details about each stage. For stage 1 that occur in furnace, in the surface molten sulfur is burned. In the dry air to produce sulfur dioxide SO2. The gas produced will be purified and cooled. For this stage, there is only one formula. It is sulfur added with oxygen gas will produce sulfur dioxide. SO2. And then we'll move on to the stage 2. Stage 2 occur in the converter. In the converter, SO2 and the excess oxygen gas are passed over a few plates of vanadium V oxide to produce sulfur trioxide SO3. And in this stage, the catalyst is vanadium V oxide and the temperature is 450 degrees Celsius and the pressure is 2 atmospheric pressure. In this stage also, the formula that we have is sulfur dioxide SO2 added with oxygen gas O2 and will produce 2 mole of sulfur trioxide SO3. O3 is the first reacted with concentrated sulfuric acid H2SO4 to form a product called oleum H2S2O7. And then oleum will diluted with water to produce more concentrated sulfuric acid in large quantities. Okay, as you can see in here, there are two formulas. For the first formula is sulfur trioxide SO3 plus added with H2SO4 sulfuric acid will produce oleum H2S2O7. And then the second formula is oleum H2S2O7 will added with water H2O and produce 2 mole of sulfuric acid H2SO4. And now we will move on to the product of the pulp.
Hi, now we continue with production of pulp. Alright, this is an overview, a lot of stages and processes involved in pulp and paper production. Alright, this first three row, it is pulp processes. It consists of refiners or grinders, chipper, digester, bleaching also, and at the end of this process produce pulp. And this pulp is the raw material to manufacture or to produce paper. So this pulp will go into a lot of processes here, and at the end we can produce this kind of paper. Okay, basically the raw material or important things to manufacture pulp and production is the timber. Where does timber come from? Okay, it can come from deciduous tree such as eucalyptus tree, beech tree, poplar tree or birch tree. This timber can come also from conifer tree such as spruce tree, pine tree and fir tree.
Know that conifer tree is used more often. This is because it has longer fibers compared to deciduous tree, and longer fibers can form a stronger paper. Thus, a higher quality paper will be produced.
Is the first stage of production of pulp production. So the timber or wood log will enter into log debugger. At the end of this log debugger, we get peel clean log. Okay, and then this peel clean log will enter into wood chipper. Okay, this wood chipper will chip the log into small pieces. Here is the result: clean wood chips. It turns into small pieces. Alright, the second process is screening. Okay, after we got the small pieces, it will go into screening process. The wood chips are screened first for size pieces. We actually need pieces, so if the pieces is too big or too small, it will be refined back, and the shorted chips will be washed and ready to next step, which is digester. Alright, the third step is the craft process. Okay, after the screening process, the chips will enter into the steam. Okay, after that it will produce pulp like liquor. This pulp like liquor will be washed and we got pulp at the end of this process. But what actually the rest of this process, I will explain in the next slides. Alright, okay, these are three main components in wood chips: 50% of water, 20% of fiber and 20% of lignin. Okay, this fiber is the main component to manufacture paper, and this lignin is actually hard to get pure fiber. So that's why this pulp production consists a lot of stages actually to remove or to separate lignin. Alright, so the wood chips will be placed in the digester with white liquor. Okay, white liquor actually is sodium hydroxide or sodium sulfate. Okay, so after the wood chips enter or placed in digester, white liquid used to remove lignin. Okay, the lid of the digester is closed. Steam is introduced to provide heat and pressure. As the heat and the pressure will begin to increase, the lignin begin to dissolve, which is the lignin will be separate away from the fiber. So we can get, alright, as you can see in the video, white liquid really functioning as a soap to separate and wash out lignin from wood fiber. So the cooking lignin now containing broken wood lignin called black liquor. So what will happen into black liquor? Okay, when the black liquor leaves the digester, it is very diluted and contains a lot of water. So the water here will be evaporated and remaining lignin and cooking chemicals. Alright, so the liquor will be burned in recovery boiler, which can generate steams and turns into, yes, green liquor. And what happened next to the green liquor? Okay, the green liquor will be added with the lime to turn it back into white liquor. And this white liquor can be used back at the beginning of the craft process, which is the first step, lignin from the wood fiber. Okay, and this is actually the craft process. From the white liquor, it turned into black liquor and turned into green liquor and turned back into white liquor. This is the craft process, and the advantages of this craft process is very cost effective and environmentally sound. So at the end of this process, it is bleaching. Okay, the remaining fiber in the digester is now transferred into bleaching station. The fiber will be washed with bleach and water, so the fiber will become whiter and whiter, and the pulp is ready to use for the next production, which is paper production.
Hi guys, it's me again. So I'm going to talk about the fun facts during the bleaching process. Oxygen and peroxide are used during the process of bleaching. These ingredients are chlorine-free ingredients. Chlorine and its derivatives, such as chlorine dioxide, are quite harmful to the environment, particularly to the aquatic environment. So, it is very important to use a chlorine-free ingredient in the paper-making industry. Did you know that for the past several years, the use of enzymes increases in the pulp and paper making activity? So here's the characteristic and the role of enzyme in the industry. It is extremely attractive green chemicals, and it also improves the operations in pulp and paper making. So enzyme is required in the bleaching process as it will improve the beatability and strength properties of fibers, increasing the freeness, and also used in the modification of starches for surface sizing and coating.
So here the result of the a lot of stages and processes, it is white pulp. Okay, you can see here this is example of pulp, and now pulp is ready as raw material for paper production. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Next, we continue with the productions of paper. This is the overview of the paper making process. The paper machines is the heart of the paper mill, a continuously running series of manufacturing process that convert the pulp solution into the perfect paper grade for each market applications. Sulfur dioxide is used in the paper industry to remove excess chlorine from bleaching applications to prevent the reverse sections of color paper. This is the head box and the wire sections. The head box is located at the beginning of the paper machines. The pulp solutions is injected at high pressure directly into the space between two continuous rotating wires. These carry the pulp into the gap former, which rapidly drains the excess water from both sides. This immobiles the pulp within the milliseconds of leaving the head box, turning it into a continuous wet paper that's still wet and fragile, but already exhibiting its most important sheets properties. Next is the press sections. The delicate paper web is carried into the press sections by continuously looped wet felts, which carry away the most water and stop the sheet from tearing. At the shoe press, the paper web is forced between a soft rotating roller pressing against the hydraulical acrylic metal pan. Water is squeezed out of the paper by this pressure. So now we're moving to the longer sections of the paper machine, which is drying cylinders. These huge heated rollers dry the paper, giving it a strength to become a self-supporting, ready for the process which is determine its surface qualities. Every process is continuously monitored to ensure the manufacturing consistency. So now we are looking at the machine calendar. The paper passes through the machine calendar where two finely polished steel cylinders at the precisely determined width apart ensure that the paper thickness is consistently even. The paper passes through a series of sizing and coating press. Here, starch and coating colors are applied to its surface using a film press process. The coating color is sprayed onto the elastic roll which is then transfer the coating film to the paper web. Pressed film coating creates uniformly thick coating layers, which follow the surface of the paper. After the after the coating process after the coating process, surface is dried by the infrared heating panels and drying cylinders. So now the last sections of the paper production. The paper is then wound onto a series of steel cores which press against the pulp reel. Every hour, paper lines creates a jumbo reel. Several reels are simultaneously fed into a sheeter, which cuts the paper into the sheets and staked onto a pallets. Then, the paper is packed and ready to sail.
So, this is the conclusion slide for our topic, which is the basic formula for sulfuric acid, H2SO4. So, when sulfur is added to oxygen, it will form sulfur dioxide. When sulfur dioxide is added to oxygen, it will form two molecules of sulfur trioxide. When sulfur trioxide is added to sulfuric acid, which is H2SO4, it will form oleum. When oleum is added to H2O, which is also water, it will form two molecules of dilute sulfuric acid, which is H2SO4. So that's all from us. Thank you.